Okay, so this is how your diet causes breast cancer and other cancers for that matter as well. So you can see this is about the top 2/3 of my new book, The DeFlame Diet for Breast Health and Cancer Prevention. And you can see the last thing that we want to do is load up on excess calories from these sugar, flour, refined oil foods. And unfortunately, the average American 55% or more, close to 60% of their calories come from these foods right here. And in this video, I'm going to show you how this creates the breast cancer state. And it could be prostate as well because all cancers are driven by the same problem. What we want to do is live on these calories here and maintain proper body weight throughout our lifetime. So this is part of a picture in the new DeFlame Diet for Breast Health book. And P53, simple thing to remember or to visualize, P53 is a tumor suppressing protein. And we want to produce adequate amounts of P53 so as to inhibit the expression of cancers, in this case breast cancer. So let's look at what P53 does. So P53 stimulates this substance or this change, this activation pattern that takes place in mitochondria is called the mitochondrial permeability transition pore. And unless you've studied pathology, you have no idea what that means. This is what you need to know. When you activate mitochondria, when mitochondria are activated to create this pore, it signals the cells that they are in to die so that those cells do not become cancerous. And the language that is used in terms of cancer cells is they are immortalized. And we do not want to lose the P53 activation of the permeability transition pore, because without this permeability transition pore, cells that should be knocked out, replaced with healthy cells, can become cancerous and therefore immortal. So P53 causes unhealthy cells that need to be replaced, causes them to die. It's called apoptosis. It's called programmed cell death. So without P53, we lose the programmed cell death process that's required to maintain healthy cells in the body. So P53 stimulates old cell death so they don't become cancerous, and P53 inhibits two cancer drivers. So aromatase is an enzyme that produces estrogen, and estrogen is a driver of several female health diseases, most notable being breast cancer, which is why women are tested to see if they are estrogen receptor positive, and then they are given either an estrogen receptor inhibitor like tamoxifen or an aromatase inhibitor. The most well-known is called Arimidex. So P53 inhibits estrogen to keep breast cancer under control, or other cancers under control. P53 also, now by the way, these are just 3 simple steps, and if this is new to you, you listen to it again. We have to embrace the fact that P53 is controlled in large measure by our dietary choices. So the pro-inflammatory calories shown in the picture of the DeFlame breast book with French fries and white bread and cupcakes and those kinds of foods, they inhibit P53. That's a big problem, because if you inhibit P53, you lose the mitochondrial transition pore, you lose inhibition of aromatase, and we lose inhibition of this substance called mTOR. For the scientists who are watching, if you really are curious what that is, it just stands for mammalian target of rapamycin, a drug that they developed years ago. And so TOR, you can think of it as being a proliferator. So all cancers, including breast cancer, obviously, are proliferative conditions. So we do not want to let the proliferator run amok. P53 inhibits the proliferator. P53 inhibits excess estrogen production. P53 stimulates the programmed cell death of cells that could become cancerous. And so we want proper p53 activation, this very much anti-inflammatory tumor suppressive protein. So this is what happens if we lose p53 inhibition. So you can see what I just did there. So look how dark blue the arrows are, reflecting a very anti-cancer benefit of activated p53. This is what it looks like when p53 gets inhibited. Ready? Bam! You see how these dark inhibitory signaling here are lost, and we have this big old aromatase being overproduced, estrogen being overproduced, the proliferator going wild. We lose the permeability of transition pores, so cells don't die. And what do we get? Breast cancer. So let's look at how your diet can promote a overactivation pattern for mTOR, aromatase / estrogen, and then a loss, and then allowing for cells to become immortalized. Ready? Here we go. Bam. Excess sugar, flour, and milk. Sugar and flour are going to stimulate the pancreas to release insulin. We also get an increased production of insulin-like growth factor 1. Both of these stimulate mTOR. Milk by itself stimulates the production of IGF-1, which stimulates mTOR. So the standard American diet consists of way too much sugar, way too much flour, way too much refined oils, and dairy products. So the least activating dairy product, at least as far as I know, would be your Greek yogurt that is so like the Fage yogurt. That's the best. With a little bit of cheese, no big deal. For the most part, we can handle some dairy as long as we are low in sugar, flour, and refined oils, and we can know based upon our standard blood tests. Okay, so let's look at what happens when you have a pro-inflammatory diet. And so this pro-inflammatory diet, which of course is this, but I wanted to show how the pro-inflammatory diet stimulates breast cancer in several directions. So leptin is a hormone produced by fat cells. It is overproduced when you have obese fat cells. And leptin, when overproduced, blocks p53, which is why we see all those little faint arrows reflecting a lack of inhibition of these three drivers of cancer. So what else is the pro-inflammatory diet rich in? Well, the pro-inflammatory diet causes cytokines to be overproduced. This happens to be an immune cell type of cytokine, this MIF. Not important to know what it means. It's just pro-inflammatory diet overproduces this pro-inflammatory cytokine, and it inhibits p53 also. Everybody thinks about, or at least if they're interested in nutrition to some degree, thinks about too much omega-6 fatty acids being a problem. Well, there we go. So LA stands for linoleic acid. So all the oils that deep fry your French fries, donuts, anything that's deep fried, peanut, corn, safflower, sunflower, all those oils, soy, way too much linoleic acid. Our body converts linoleic acid into arachidonic acid. We also eat excess arachidonic acid in grain-fed animal products. And in our bodies, arachidonic acid is converted into PGE2, prostaglandin E2, and prostaglandin E2 stimulates or inhibits p53. PGE2 does another thing. Watch this. Boom. PGE2 directly activates aromatase to further drive excess estrogen. So you can see pro-inflammatory diet is highly problematic. Now, the average person who is living on a pro-inflammatory diet, which consists of excess sugar, flour, refined oils, and certainly a lack of vegetation, is going to lack polyphenols and carotenoids in their diet, and these give us the pigmented colors that we recognize vegetation with. They inhibit p53. Adequate vitamin D, the only way to get it in real life is through sun exposure. And we can take supplements too. The average American is deficient in vitamin D. So look at how many inhibitory factors that we have fighting against p53, as well as activating directly aromatase and mTOR with the pro-inflammatory diet. So, the odds favor strongly that people are going to be pushed into cancer expression, which is between heart disease and cancer, they're the two top killers. And so people tend to worry about things like pollutants and xenoestrogens like the plasticizers, and they tend to forget about these things here, but we're all exposed to too much of the xenoestrogens, i.e. plasticizers, and what do? Bam, your xenoestrogens, so your plasticizers, as well as the estrogens that you get in a lot of makeup products. So these xenoestrogens are going to activate mTOR and further inhibit p53. So this means a pro-inflammatory diet and exposure to xenoestrogens creates the biochemical state that will create breast cancer. Now this description of this image is, you can listen to it several times. Obviously it's a video, and it's described in the new breast cancer book, or breast health and cancer prevention book, that was just released on May 14th. This is what the front cover looks like. This was the top third, 2/3 you saw before. This is the other part of the front cover. And on the back it says clearly what your goal should be as a woman. Deflame your breasts. Maybe not deflame your body. But if you're worried about breast cancer, you want to think, I want to do everything I can to deflame my breasts. If you're a guy, do everything I can to deflame my prostate if you ever worry about prostate cancer. So this book will explain to you why breast cancer is caused by chronic inflammation, overeating refined sugar, flour, and oils, dental disease, xenoestrogens, cigarette smoking, free radicals, obesity, metabolic syndrome, the wrong gut bacteria, and the wrong breast bacteria. Did you know that you have bacteria in your breast? Yeah, and diet changes them dramatically, favoring cancer expression. I just showed you how omega-6s promote breast cancer, and I showed you a bit how vitamin D promotes breast cancer. Iodine is one of the most important minerals for men, and so male and female health, because iodine combines with your fatty acids to protect them against oxidation. So you need to know all of these factors. And so the approach is very simple. It's not complicated. You've got to get rid of these pro-inflammatory calories, or certainly reduce them to a minimum and then properly consume these calories. So really easy to get this book. The Kindle version, look at this, just $2.99. You cannot afford to not get this book if you're a Kindle reader, and the paperback is just $14.95. And in the notes in this YouTube video, I will put a link there to go right to Amazon, where you can get a copy, and also on the DeFlame site itself, there will be volume discounts for these books if you buy 25 or 50 at a time. Okay, thanks for your time. Thanks for listening.